welcome to a brand new episode of the Hustle for Good podcast. This is your host, Steve, and today's guest is John Marino. How you doing, John?
Hey, Steve. Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hey, so we were first introduced through Logan Gelbrecht, and because you did some fundraising for my organization, Stoked, through your Ohana-Kāne Project, and just in our little talk just now, that you started telling me that you have other sort of charitable things that you are involved with. So why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and just like your background is, and how'd you get into this sort of the hustle for good lifestyle?
Yeah, totally. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. So I'm originally from Chicago. I now live in Southern California, Santa Monica. I've been here for about 4.5 years. I started doing charitable endeavors about 7 years ago. So my day job is I work for a management consulting firm. I manage a global business development team. So that keeps me busy in my day job. But as a source of additional fuel for me on a day-to-day basis, about 7 years ago, I started long-distance running and endurance racing. At that time, I had done a few things, and I realized it was a me endeavor, and I wanted to make it a bigger endeavor than about me. So I joined a marathon team where essentially I raise funds and awareness around a children's hospital in Chicago. So that took place for about, it's still happening right now. I'm a little less than 3 weeks out from my upcoming marathon. But then in addition to that, over the past several years, I was looking for a little bit more, probably something based out in LA. So a friend of mine and I worked together, and we developed the Ohana-Kāne Project. We essentially realized that most spaces for men are typically around, maybe cocktail receptions, happy hours, getting together for food and, watching sports and drinking a few beers. So we were just trying to shift the networking paradigm and kind of work in conjunction with really where our society is today around fitness. So we wanted to create an intimate space for men to get together, connect, sweat, and also do good things through service. So essentially on a monthly basis or every 6 weeks, we get together with some sort of fitness facility. We identify an organization that means something to either ourselves, members of our group, and or in this instance, the gym or the facility that we're working out at. And we charge the cost of fitness. Usually the facility will donate their space. We just charge their typical cost of fitness, 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever it may be. And 100% of that money goes to an organization. We give folks the opportunity, such as yourself, to come speak to the 30, 40, 50, 60 guys, fill us all in on, raising awareness on what your organization does. And you have additional feet on the street that are more aware of your organization. And these days, corporate wellness is a big thing. So oftentimes corporations will match donations as well. So as a way to kind of accelerate and increase the amount we can donate, in addition to the awareness, we'd look to go through kind of donate the money through a corporate and see if we can increase the monetary amount that would go back to the charity. Those are two of my three, but I'll pause just because I've been talking for 180 seconds straight. So I'll let you interject.
So what I love the premise, and when you told me about the whole matching part, and when I saw that you were able to like funnel funds through a matching partner, I was like, I thought, talk about leverage, right? Like you get 30, 40 people in a venue. They get the benefit of being in this group setting. You raise some money, and then and it's just like, it's like this quadruple bottom line, right? Like you get the community, you get the fund, you get the connection, and then you get like extra, like what you said, like, feet on the street, people. And it feels, I don't know, it's kind of genius to me. Maybe it's simple to you, but like it's genius to me. And the other thing that I sort of think about is like, what was the cause of it? Like, what was the impetus? I know that you said that like networking thing normally happens around like having drinks and watching sports and that sort of stuff, but like, why this? And like, why, what was the need that you were seeking?
Yeah. So as an individual, I'm sober. So, and a lot of friends I connect with are, sober, not sober, whatever it may be. But I noticed that the best connections I made were through, getting together, sweating together, spending time like that, because I no longer spend time, in those other traditional forums. So I didn't want to feel like I was not involved in spending time with folks because I didn't care to go to bars and happy hours to connect and under that kind of umbrella. And I knew how much service fueled me throughout the years. And there's just so much, like over time, you start to realize, just log into Facebook today and see how many people are raising funds or awareness around a particular cause through, Facebook's fundraising button. So there's just so much, there's so many stories that have been told over the years, friends with leukemia, friends that, parents have breast cancer, underfunded charities, stuff that doesn't get enough recognition, whether it's, dogs, mentorship. So all of this stuff. And we have a group of, 40, 50, 60 like-minded individuals that are young business professionals that have the ability to make an impact. And everyone looks for an opportunity to be of service when it's brought to them, but not many people really sit there and seek it out. So this is like the easiest way to be of service. I say, you're going to spend $30 to work out anyways. Show up, work out, build a community, network, further relationships. And just by doing that alone, you're being of service and you're, funding underfunded charities. You're becoming more aware of what's out there. And you have the opportunity to speak to something that you didn't know about before. So I think my desire came from just the fact that, many ways I felt like I wasn't, my appetite for being in certain environments wasn't where it would have been in the past. So I was just looking to be fueled in other environments.
That's so cool. And just by showing up and being able to speak to something that you didn't know of is service.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Any way to kind of just get away from what benefits me to what benefits those around me.
Sure. And so tell us about, I guess what was your first workout and like how did you get people together and
Yeah, pre-event's always a bit nerve-wracking because, but I guess an event's a success if you have one person or if you have 50 people. But we often measure success based on quantity versus quality. I think that's just where we're at. Not our organization, but just us in general, like us people.
Yeah.
So our first event, we had a space donated in West Hollywood. We had a great speaker who really speaks on, mentorship, fitness, and just trying to rise up to the occasion. We partnered up with a charity in Los Angeles called Habisol. So the cost of entry was more like bring some shoes. There was no monetary needs. It was just bring some shoes. This organization will go around Los Angeles, look for folks that don't have the opportunity to get out and move, maybe because they don't have the appropriate shoes, maybe they're homeless, whatever it is. So they'll go shelter to shelter, get folks strapped up so they could get out and, enjoy the outdoors. Promotion really came via word of mouth. We had different outlets where my partner and I are members of different fitness facilities. We have different networks. We represent different brands in terms of like ambassadorship around this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really homegrown. And everything we've done has kind of been homegrown. In a day where folks are seeking larger mass marketing, we're like, well, let's try going the homegrown route rather than paying for like bots to promote everything on various social channels. Let's see what we can generate via word of mouth. So it was really like, if you want to think of like original sales, just going around knocking on doors in a business park or like picking up the phone and cold calling. It was really just leveraging relationships we've already had and seeing if folks were interested. And, once you kind of build that little core group that's interested, it expands and expands. And LA is the perfect market because it's so transient. So like you have people that just like land here and they're like, all my best friends are from college and we went to Wisconsin and they're all in Chicago now. Like, how do I develop a new network? So yeah, it's worked out well.
How much have you raised for charities?
We just put out like a citizenship report that was prior to our last two events. So I think we're over 30,000. Yeah, because we were 20,000 plus before the last two, and the last two we were able to raise, I think, a little over 10,000. So we're over 30,000.
And this is from a workout from like 50 people.
Yeah, this is all just from working out. And then the facility, I mean, it's not us. Honestly, it's the people that show up. Yeah. It's the charities that are willing to put themselves forward. It's the individuals that are willing to make themselves vulnerable by putting their charity forward and, sharing their story, whether it's them or their family. And most importantly, it's like the facilities that allow us to show up, that donate the space, that pull together, 5 or 6 individuals to work at, on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m., that, have an instructor donate their time, that then offer, follow-ups like, hey, since you showed up to this event by the Ohana-Kāne Project, we'll give you a 5-pack at, 30% off to continue to come to our gym. And then we have other, companies that want to come and support it, like, protein companies, food companies, clothing companies that come out and they support. So we've really tried to make this a unique experience for everyone that shows up. So like your $30 or $40 is maximum service to organizations, but it also gets you a workout, and oftentimes you'll leave with like a jug of protein, a discounted rate, a free class.
There's a ton of value.
Yeah, absolutely.
What? How have you personally grown?
I've formed relationships with folks that I wouldn't have met otherwise. I've learned so many stories. I've just found it amazing to hear people's personal stories and to see people, brought to tears at how much like stuff like this moves them. And it's created this appetite to like want to do this stuff more and more and more and more. Like this interview right now is uncomfortable. I'm a corporate guy that works in, a business setting at the same firm for 7+ years. So like, and that's all I want out of my professional life, that and then service. Like, I don't want to seek monetary gain from anything else. So like, being in a situation like this isn't something that's necessarily comfortable. So it gets me out of my comfort zone and an opportunity to hopefully raise awareness to others. So that's all I want. I mean, that's all I can continue. And 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been comfortable doing this. I may not have understood the impact of this kind of stuff, but today it's just shifted my mindset to always like think more service oriented. Like, even if it's checking out at the grocery store and you get prompted, like, would you like to donate $1, $3, or $5 to the food shelter organization? And I'm thinking to myself, well, if I'm spending $5 on kombucha, why can't I donate a couple dollars? So it just shifts that mindset.
And I know you said you don't seek any like you're a professional, like you work for a management consulting firm, right? Like what professionally skills have sort of translated into, I mean, were you doing events before? Like,
No. I wasn't doing events before, but professionally within my firm, we do have like wellness initiatives and we do have like corporate citizenship initiatives. So like, it's very heavily promoted within the firm to, get out and sweat, connect, and raise money and awareness. Like currently we're participating in September. So September represents a charity, and you get out and you raise money, you create these teams, and you do it through a stepping challenge. We do a global run every year that represents a different charity. So it's been cool to kind of like intertwine the worlds of like corporate wellness and citizenship, and then kind of take it to like outside of work and, do it like, social wellness and citizenship. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of cool to like, and then like at that point, it's in your DNA. So it's like there's no separation anymore. It's not like, well, this is what I do at work and this is what I do personally. It's like, let me seek every opportunity to leverage work or leverage personal to kind of succeed in both worlds.
What, and I saw online that there have been some other cool opportunities, like brand ambassadorship type things, and being able to, I mean, because every time we were even communicating, you were going someplace on a plane to do something physical, right? Like, you talk through about that, like, or did I catch you in a season where you're just super busy in terms of races? Because you know what I mean? Like, you hold down this like big corporate job, you're doing all these things, and it just kind of seems like your life between Ohana-Kāne, potentially your work, all these things have sort of blended together, like you talked about. Like, what's going on here? What's the secret sauce?
Um, Again, like I was mentioning, like everything's just intertwined. So it presents opportunities on and off the field. On the field being work, off the field being personally. Like, my raising awareness and um, fitness through corporate wellness and all that stuff. Like, I had the opportunity to travel to Portland with 11 colleagues and do a race from Mount Hood to Coast. It's a relay race. So
Was
I'm in a
that Hood
van.
to Coast thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the weekends. I'm in a van with 11 colleagues I wouldn't have otherwise known from all over the country. And we're together and we're spending a weekend together. Running a relay race, 6 of us in a van, and we didn't know each other otherwise, but this is the best corporate team building event I've ever participated in. And it's a weekend, and you don't mind giving up a weekend for something that can be perceived as work because you're with colleagues. I mean, when everything's kind of together, like, I love that. You have corporate wellness, you have, the networking aspect of it, there's fitness, like everything's just so fun. And then, my team is national with some international components. So I do get the opportunity to travel. And when I travel, I try to, get out and stay active while traveling as well for work. And I did have the opportunity as an ambassador for the Epilepsy Foundation. I mean, I myself have epilepsy. And, when sharing my story, a lot of people had reached out that I had known, whether it be wives of, of husbands that have their husband has epilepsy, and I was friends with the wife, and they have so much fear, or friends from college or high school. So it really gave me an opportunity to connect with other folks that are kind of in a similar position, and maybe don't feel comfortable, or don't really have that network of people with a similar condition that they can share and collaborate around. So then I got the opportunity to represent the Epilepsy Foundation as an Athletes vs. Epilepsy ambassador. And really, I just want to go around, raise awareness, what to do when you see someone having a seizure, common misconceptions on what to do. I mean, we're so aware around like CPR, first aid, all of that stuff. And you ask someone what to do when someone's having a seizure, which is an underfunded charity to begin with, or a foundation. And I feel like it occurs so frequently, and so many people are at risk of being around someone who has something like that. And most people don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I guess when you think about and that totally makes sense. Like, I love the sort of narrative of, like, if there's something that, if the first way to give back is to support the things in which you've either been through or are a sort of you're a constituent of, right? Like, support the things that, and I could totally see how, like, by being so active, opportunities like that, and then you doing that could help save other lives or improve the quality of life of other people just by you showing up yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, my motto is just show up.
Just show up. Yeah.
Just show up. That's like 99% of the work, whether it's going out for a run or going to a workout class. The hardest part is showing up. Like,
Yeah.
Once you're there, the rest of everything's going to take care of itself.
For
But
sure.
like, just show up. And that's, and raising awareness with connecting with people. Just make yourself available. Just make yourself a little bit more vulnerable today than you were yesterday. And I'm not out there to try to, save lives or help any individuals or do anything. I just want, for me, I want the opportunity to connect and build those relationships and get out of it with other folks who want to get out of it.
For
And
sure.
I'm in no higher position than anyone else.
Yeah. That's a pretty Midwestern trait of yours. Show up, do the work. So what's the future hold for you and Ohana-Kāne and all of your philanthropic hustles?
Just want to keep doing it. I mean, 7 years ago I landed, and 7 years later it's expanded. So it's a cliche of like land and expand, but I just want to keep expanding. Just want to keep doing it. Just want to keep showing up. I try to really stay out of the future too far, because like pulling myself into the future kind of removes myself from the present. And if I'm planning so far ahead, I may miss opportunities, today, tomorrow, or next week. We plan one event at a time. We try to execute on that one event. From a running perspective, I want to continue to support the children's organization that I support every year. I want to give it my all. And then my goal is to run all 6 world marathons. So that's Boston, New York, Chicago, Berlin, Tokyo, and London, a few of which I've already done, but I want to rerun all of them on behalf of the Epilepsy Foundation, raise upwards of $50,000. So those are my goals. Those are my 5 and 10 year goals. None of it can happen today, but just one step at a time.
Cool. And what does hustle for good mean to you?
Honestly, it means everything we've just talked about, like getting out there, doing stuff that that isn't part of. We're not working for money. The opposite of working for money is hustling for good, in my opinion. Like we're doing things that, you are doing things where you're raising awareness. You're showing that people are out there, working, and it's not working. You're working hard. You're in the trenches, but you're not doing it for self gain. You're not doing it for a paycheck. You're doing it for good. You're doing it for the betterment of the community, to make an impact on other people, and to raise awareness. I mean, that's hustle for good. Like just relentless forward progress in all of those endeavors. I'm super long-winded today.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. John, thank you so much. How can people get in touch? What's your website, Instagram?
They can reach me directly via email, jmarino85@gmail.com. Instagram handle is jmarino85. And then from there, we can facilitate, phone calls or, any other emails, and, reach out if you're a Los Angeles, individual, male or female, that wants to get involved in communities. If you're fitness oriented, and or if you have a charity you want to put forward, we're happy to use Ohana as a platform.
Awesome, dude. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we connected, and I'm so glad that you are using your gift and your desire to like connect with people through your passion. That's everything, man. It's everything. So I really appreciate your time, and good luck with everything.
I've done nothing. I appreciate your time, my man. Thank you.
Cool. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.